Well, hello and welcome to this week's Career Codex video. My name is Simon Gray and it's great to be back once again. And this week I'm talking about something all of us do, and if possible, the thing many of us would like to try and brush under the carpet if we could get away with it. And let's be honest, while we might sometimes try and hide the fact, we all make mistakes from time to time. And I used to fear making a dreaded mistake, and would go out of my way to prevent them from happening. But running from the inevitable can never be a winning proposition. And we're all human after all, and making mistakes is part of our DNA. And I now embrace making mistakes for two reasons. Firstly, they show me I'm trying hard and pushing boundaries, which is essential to achieving success in any aspect of life. And secondly, they're a catalyst to grow and develop. And I only tend to make them once, and always learn from the experience. And the reason for discussing this topic today is that I was reminded about the magical power of making mistakes on a family trip to Windsor last weekend. And this is a story I'll share with you now. With two young children, planning a trip away, even for a few days, is no mean feat. In fact, it's more of a military operation requiring precision planning and then diligent execution of said plan. After extensive research we picked a nice hotel in close proximity to Legoland. This was for the children, and Windsor Castle for the parents. And the first day went without a hitch because we were at Legoland. The children got tired. They ran around the complex that is Legoland, and this served to ensure a relaxing and enjoyable dinner in the evening. However, the following day, having visited Windsor Castle, where there's less opportunity for the kids to run around, we returned to the hotel. Kids had a bucket load of energy, and we needed to get that burnt off before dinner. So my wife and I, we sat down for a drink and watched our boys explore the children's play area. And they did this for a while. We then called them for dinner and noticed that their clothes, shoes and even hair were covered in yellow paint. And on closer inspection realised that the paint on the climbing frame was actually wet. Now, my wife was quite angry. New clothes and yellow paint don't mix well. And we visited the front desk to complain, and the manager, to be fair, made himself immediately available and explained that the play area had been painted only a few days before. He promised he'd put things right and suggested we have a drink while he investigated the situation further. So, true to his words, he found us in the bar, and he gave us the opportunity to have the clothes cleaned. This was out of the question given the fact that we were leaving early the next day, but in place he offered us a complimentary dinner and drinks in the restaurant that evening. And the hotel had made a mistake, they recognised that, and while they couldn't rectify the situation, they'd offered to put things right in a different way. And I have to say we had a lovely meal that evening. The staff were very attentive and went above and beyond to make sure we had a fantastic experience. So despite the catalyst being a mistake the hotel had made, I've since surprisingly found myself singing the praises of the staff and how they put the situation right to anyone who'll listen. I'm even doing it on this video. And I've even posted a 5-star review on TripAdvisor. Now the question is, would I have done this, would I have talked about this experience so much, done the TripAdvisor review, if there hadn't been a mistake which they rectified? And the answer is probably not. And this is the magical power of making mistakes. Providing you acknowledge the situation and go out of your way to put things right, then generally you generate more goodwill than if things had gone right from the off. So what does this have to do with executive job search and the Career Codex methodology for job search success? Well, in the interview environment, this is generally part of any recruitment process. You come face to face with an employer, and this can be a stressful situation, particularly if you're not prepared and don't have a strategy to navigate this part of an employer's decision-making process properly. Not being able to answer a question, or starting your answer and subsequently realising you've not given the best example or account of yourself to demonstrate your skills and experience in a particular area, is a likely occurrence and one that could happen. So diligent preparation, although it goes a long way to minimise the chances of this happening, doesn't always mitigate the risk, and there's always a possibility that you'll mess something up. And the trick here is not to hide, but instead to acknowledge your mistake. And if your mind goes blank, try something like this. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to come up with the right example for you at the moment. Do you mind if we could come back to this question towards the end of the interview, please? Now, this communicates honesty to the employer and shows you're not one to shoot from the hip unless you're sure of your message. It also gives your subconscious mind the time and opportunity to come up with a far better answer than the knee-jerk one you might have given at the start. When you're partway through your answer and realise you could have done a better job in communicating your message, try something like this. I'm sorry, I realise that this answer is not the best one I could have given to demonstrate my skills and experience in this area. If it's okay with you, I'll start again. Again, this communicates decisiveness to the employer and brings their attention, which may have lapsed, you may have lost them through waffling, brings their attention firmly back to you. It shows you're in control, and the fact that you're prepared to acknowledge your mistake builds trust and rapport. If you've never tried this strategy in an interview environment and ploughed on instead, I encourage you to give this approach a go next time. And just as my experience with a hotel, it can leave a lasting impression that goes much further to impress an employer than if your answers had been word perfect from start to finish. So I hope you found this video useful. If you've had a similar experience or used a similar strategy at interview, please feel free to share your comments with me on YouTube at careercodex.com or directly on LinkedIn, where I'll be very happy to connect. My username is Simon Gray, GrayACA. And that's it for this week. So until next time, take care, and I'll talk to you very soon.